I'd like to introduce you to the AP Biology Research Projects. As you know, this is the biggest project of the year, and it's the most important, and frankly, I think it's the best project you'll do all year. Basically, you'll conduct a research project from the inception of an idea to publishing your work. Now, while the most visible research here at Pingry is molecular biology, you are permitted to do any type of biological research you'd like. The most important thing is that you find something you care about and can be passionate about, something that will capture your interest and keep it. So why do we do this? Because of a push for more inquiry science. I'd always done a fair amount of inquiry, but this is really as inquiry as you can get. Part of this was as a result of College Board's redesigned AP biology curriculum, but I kind of took it one more step. So basically, you're going to learn science by doing science, and that's really the best way to learn science. And honestly, it's just a lot more fun to do it this way. So, your research project, the process really does follow the way things are presented in a research paper. And the first thing you're going to do is establish why we should care and why you should care about the research that you're going to do. If you can't establish that, why are you doing it? It's just a waste of time. Then you're going to tell us specifically how you're going to do your experiment. You're going to collect results. And then finally, you're going to tell us why we care about your results. What do they mean? How do they change things? So your introduction is going to be due as a rough draft the last day of September. You need to do background reading, and that's going to be used in your introduction. You're going to need to identify a research question and hypotheses. To do this, you can consult with anybody you want to, me, any of the biology teachers. You know who they are, and that's what you're going to come up with by the last day of September, a rough draft of your introduction. Next, you're going to put together an experimental design. Your design should test your hypothesis, and ultimately you're going to present this to the class. The presentation should be between 10 and 20 minutes, but you should practice it in front of an honors bio student. This is due by the middle of October, and if you can do it earlier, because you're all ready and you have your research underway, for example, do it before that, because we'll need to fit everybody in by October 15. After you present in class, we're going to help you provide constructive criticism for your experiment. In other words, we're going to try to tear your experiment to pieces to show why it won't work or why this wouldn't be a good idea. And from that information, you're going to revise your experimental design and come out with a better experiment. Next, you're going to conduct your experiment. The first step in this is to do some pilot studies so that you can demonstrate that you know how to grow whatever organisms you need, make whatever media you need, because the worst thing that we can do really is buy a whole bunch of supplies and then find out that it's not going to work. You can't grow zebrafish, for example, or something like that. So we work on a small scale and then we build up. And really, you need to have some wet work in the lab underway before I write my interim comments so that I can say good things about how your research is progressing. Just think about which of those two comments up there you want your parents to be reading. Once you've conducted your experiment, you're going to collect your data and then analyze it. You really need to have some data to analyze by winter break. If you don't have data by winter break, you really are going to be behind the 8 ball because we don't have that much time until the semester's over, really. It's going to go very fast, and so you need to get to work on it. Your rough draft for your results section is going to be due at the very beginning of March. This should be done at least a week before we go on spring break. Then you're going to draw some conclusions, and you're going to write a rough draft of your discussion section. This needs to be done before spring break as well. This can be done the Monday before we go on spring break. The other one should be done the week before. The results should be the week before. And then finally, after you've put all that together and done all this work, you're going to communicate your work at a poster session at Exhibit Research, and that is April 5th, 2013. So put it on your calendar now. And once you've presented it and got some feedback on that, you can do some final revisions. You might even do a couple little lab things left, but you should basically be done by this point. And then before you leave for ISP, your very last day of class, you need to have handed in to me an electronic copy and a paper copy of your paper for the Pingry Community Research Journal. And then you'll be published. I hope you'll find it exciting and interesting. I know I did last year. Thank you.